In 1991, disc golf pioneer Brent Hambrick served as the tournament director for the first ever Columbus Open, which was won in a sudden death playoff by Steve Valencia. The tournament has since been renamed the Brent Hambrick Memorial Open in Brent's honor after his unfortunate passing in 1997. Watch as the Columbus Flyers keep Brent Hambrick's memory alive at the 15th annual Brent Hambrick Memorial, as Disc Golf Monthly starts now. Welcome to another edition of Disc Golf Monthly. We're here in Columbus, Ohio at the Brent Hambrick Memorial Disc Golf Course for the 15th annual Brent Hambrick Memorial Open Disc Golf Tournament. Hello everyone, I'm Carl Cubbage, joined by fellow disc golfer Tom Cady. Tom, we're here for the National Tour event for the PDGA. This is one of the top tournaments in the country. It attracts some of the best golfers around. Tell us a little bit about this course today, Tom.
Well, this course was put in place in 1990 by Brent Hambrick himself. He was the designer, and it's designed around the Hoover Dam just north of Columbus, Ohio, as you said. The dam's not quite as big as the one in Nevada. It's 100 feet high, but we've got a lot of nice elevation at the course. The front is nice and open over grassy areas playing down from the dam, and then the second nine comes back up the hill through a tightly wooded pine forest with a lot of tunnel shots and a lot of difficult holes. And then there's the third nine that is a mix of open and tight wooded shots. So it's really a course that demands every shot that you've got.
Yeah, Tom, this course is really going to showcase the top players' skills. Tell us a little bit about the tournament history here.
Well, again, Brent was the tournament director, and it was known as the Columbus Open back then. Brent did become ill with leukemia, and in 95, 96, there was no tournament. And then after Brent's passing, his friend Dan Busick picked up the tournament again, renamed it the Brent Hambrick Memorial Open, and he and Paul Jay have been running it ever since.
Well, Tom, before we really cover the event today, I think this would be a great time for everyone at home to learn a little bit about Hambrick and the piece that we're going to go to right now. He was more than just a disc golfer. Brent Hambrick was a passionate promoter of disc golf, from getting courses installed to mentoring new players to the sport. A game where players throw a disc from a tee with the goal of getting the disc to land in a basket in the least amount of throws.
He was so enthusiastic about it, and when this course went in, you know, he immediately was planning the large tournaments, and he was just all about disc golf.
I think as I started progressing, he kind of latched on to some of the up-and-coming players. You know, he just kind of taught me a lot about the game, about being a good sportsman, just being a good person. He was a great guy, and make you a better player, and just it's all-around good guy. So
Brent's perception of life was different from most, as he had developed Hodgkin's lymphoma at a young age.
While we were friends, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease, and so he went through that period, took some experimental chemo that they told him would give him a 5% chance of getting leukemia someday. And so, you know, he came through that initial chemo in good shape.
With most people, dealing with Hodgkin's disease would be enough to make them lose their passion to play, but not Brent.
He played more because he would come home after every single chemotherapy treatment and come outside and putt until he started throwing up. So he would have about an hour of being really okay, and his putting got much better because he was working so hard not to think about what was about to happen.
The cancer in Brent quickly went into remission, only to come out a short time later. But he was lucky to have it go back into remission once again.
And so he had another year of treatments. And then he was totally cured. 100%. The doctor had no question that he was cured. And that lasted 10 years.
With the threat of cancer seemingly out of his life, Brent's sense of passion for the sport of disc golf grew tenfold. Brent was free to focus his efforts on designing championship courses and running bigger and better tournaments.
He played all the time, and then once given the opportunity to work with the land here at Hoover and design a course, that was his main focus. His goal was to create a championship course.
The other thing that he was really passionate about was getting tournaments started here, making the look of the course as he designed it really difficult. It's not an easy course up there. He wanted badly to bring out spectators and make it a spectator sport.
Brent was a pioneer when it came to the politics of getting approval to design and install disc golf courses. Brent worked with Parks Department to help him realize his dream to have a championship caliber disc golf course in the city of Columbus. The Hoover Dam course was that course and has since been named after him.
He put together a letter writing campaign to the Parks Departments. He gathered letters from other states, from other parks and from other disc golf clubs that had petitioned their parks in their neighborhoods, in their local towns. He used all that information and then presented to the Parks and Rec Board here to present his vision for the golf course.
With a championship caliber course in the ground at the Hoover Dam in Columbus, Ohio, Brent then directed his attention to running the finest disc golf tournaments. Tournaments run by Brent Hambrick were focused on catering to all players, not just winners. To this day, each year when the Professional Disc Golf Association recognizes the Tournament Director of the Year, the award is named the Brent Hambrick Tournament Director of the Year. Some of Brent's ideas for running a tournament were way ahead of their time.
His mentality was to really bring disc golf to light to where it got a lot of attention, like the PGA. You ran a tournament like it was a professional tournament, just not a weekend gathering.
Brent ran some of the best tournaments in the country at the time. The Columbus Open, it was named before he died, and then we renamed it to the Brent Hambrick Memorial Open in '97. So some of the Columbus Opens were the standard that we try to aspire to.
In 1991, the first ever Columbus Open was held and was a sheer thrill for all, as there were plenty of spectators there to watch the exciting one-hole playoff between Mike Sullivan and Steve Valencia. It was Steve who came away with the win at the first ever Columbus Open, an event that had plenty of local media coverage and even had a professional tournament video made of the event. In the 3 years that followed, there was continued success, and it looked like the sky was the limit for Brent Hambrick and his disc golf ambitions. Tragically, cancer re-entered the life of Brent Hambrick on New Year's Day in 1996, when Brent had to be hospitalized for the treatment of what turned out to be gallstones. But after performing a biopsy, it was revealed that the cancer had returned, this time in the form of acute myeloid leukemia, something that Brent was told the last time he went into remission that there was only a 5% chance of having when in his 60s. Now at the age of 31, Brent Hambrick was having to battle cancer once again.
The oncologist said, okay, I will check him just to make everybody feel better. Did the bone marrow and walked in the door the next morning that all I had to do was look at him as he came in the door, and I knew. Now that day he called me and he was really crying. He was crying really hard.
Brent would not allow this diagnosis to affect his love for the game or how he chose to live his life.
He started his chemo treatments and battled as hard as he could. And through that time, through his sickness, he continued to play disc golf as much as he could. It was his passion, and you know, that's what made him feel better, was getting out on the course and being able to play.
And there were times he would go to chemo and come out here a day later and whip our butts on the golf course and be sick as a dog.
Through all the treatments, members of the Columbus disc golf community were there for Brent, doing whatever they could to help put him at ease.
It was a good friend that was in need, a good friend that was sick and maybe not able to do everything that he wanted to do for himself. So out of just, you know, general friendship, it was just being there to support him in whatever he needed.
If he could get out and about, you know, we would take him out and about, take him out to the course, do whatever we could. I mean, it wasn't easy by any stretch of the imagination. It was very emotionally stressful.
As Brent's battle continued, the chemotherapy was taking its toll on him. After more than a year of treatments of chemotherapy, his heart was becoming incredibly weak.
I called the doctor and he said, "Oh, that's the reason we checked his heart every day. I told you that any organ could collapse from this chemotherapy. Send him back, bring him back in and we'll check his heart." And he only had a third of his heart left. His heart had just gone. So there was nothing for him to decide. One more drop of anything would have killed him.
In spite of his condition, Brent was determined to play on and not let the leukemia prevent him from playing in tournaments around the country. In April of 1997, he went out to one of his favorite courses, De La Viega in Santa Cruz, California, to play in the Masters Cup with his friends Dennis Janney and Dan Busick. But things took a dark turn for Brent as he went to play a tournament in Louisville, Kentucky with his girlfriend, Mackenzie.
His passion for the sport was so great that he figured, you know, if my time is short, I'm going to use it to the way I want to use it. And so he continued to play disc golf to his ability as far as, you know, what his body would allow him to do. I mean, he went to tournaments where a couple times, once in Louisville, he literally almost died, and he probably would have one night in a hotel room in Louisville, except his girlfriend woke up and, you know, discovered him pretty much passed out, and he was just, you know, very strong-willed, and he was going to do what he wanted until his time, you know, was over.
In 1997, the disc golf community was not as large as it is today, and players had to travel a lot to get to play tournaments, which meant that everyone knew everyone.
Everybody knew that he was down in Kentucky, knew that he was trying to play, and then everybody heard that, you know, they found him on the floor in the motel room in Kentucky, and they brought him back home here, and he just never could regain the strength and to fight it off.
Brent shared his condition in a heartfelt letter that was even published in Disc Golf World News. In it, Brent let everyone know his situation with chemotherapy and how it would limit his life. He shared how being a member of the disc golf community saved him from becoming isolated from friends, and thanked everyone who had been supportive of him. He even joked about offering up his convertible Z28, which he had loved so much. Although Brent accepted what his future was to be, he was determined to live his life the way he wanted.
He was bedridden for the most part, I think, and we get into his house and he gets up out of bed, plays pool with us. Actually shot a game of pool with us, and his mom was there, and she just sat in the corner, and I can vividly remember her saying, he hasn't done that in a long time. Her comment that he's just doing it for you guys, like he's just showing off like he does, you know, and making you guys think he's fine. But I think it was shortly thereafter, I don't know how long, but it couldn't have been more than a week that he actually passed.
At the age of 34, on August the 6th, 1997, the disc golf community and the world lost Brent Hambrick.
I got up and went in and he said, "This is it, Mom." And I said, "How do you know?" And he didn't describe it. He just said, "This is it."
Sweet catch. Yeah. Brent Hambrick. All right, Brent. So it's good to see everybody working so hard on a course like this. This is a beautiful course. I love it. Way to go, guys. So it's a lot to win.
The loss of a good friend and fellow disc golfer was hard for many.
It was a hard thing to deal with. He was a very good friend. I spent a lot of time with him. I traveled the country with him. So to not have him around was definitely something that took quite a bit of getting used to. I got married in October of '97, and Brent was supposed to be my best man. So it was a tough thing to deal with.
In Brent's memory, his ashes were spread at various places that were very meaningful to him. His best friend, Dan Busick, traveled to spread Brent's ashes in many of these places.
I was fortunate enough to be able to take one of the boxes and sprinkle them off the top of Half Dome as well as off the top of the world at De La Viega.
Brent's ashes were also spread at the renamed Brent Hambrick Memorial Course at a tree planted in his honor by his favorite hole, Hole 8. The club rallied to keep his memory alive. On October 18, 1997, the first annual Brent Hambrick Memorial Open was held. There were 125 disc golfers, some traveling from afar to celebrate the life of Brent Hambrick.
or somebody dug holes all around the tree, and all of the cards and get well cards and everything that he was given, she shredded up, and we all, like, you know, put them in little holes, and then everybody had the opportunity to spread some of his ashes around there, and it was just so meaningful.
15 years after the loss of Brent, his spirit continues to live on as the Columbus Flyers were born.
One thing that came about after his death was everybody rallied and we got the Columbus Flyers Disc Golf Club together. I think we all felt the need to carry on Brent's passion, and I really do attribute the club being in existence to his passing.
Every year since Brent's passing, the club has hosted the Brent Hambrick Memorial Open in his honor. Each year, the Columbus Flyers aims to raise as much money as possible for the benefit of cancer research and for those currently needing treatments. Tournament director Paul Jay is one who is very instrumental in making sure his memory is kept alive.
With it being 15 years, I think there's so many newcomers that come on and they don't really know Brent. Once they get here for a year or two and they hear Paul in the players meeting and they hear Paul's mission, and the past tournament directors that have run this tournament, they've always preached, you know, this is for Brent, you know, we're doing this for Brent.
The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society has volunteered at the event and appreciates the impact the financial donation event proceeds makes to help in the fight against cancer.
They've helped us for the last several years. We come and help volunteer for the event, and in return they donate money, which again goes toward the James Cancer Clinic to help fight blood cancers.
The charity aspect of it, we take a lot of pride in. Since '97, we raised over $40,000 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and we really hang our hat on that.
This year is a special year for keeping the memory of Brent Hambrick alive, as Brent has been selected to have his memory preserved at the Disc Golf Hall of Fame. The induction ceremony will take place during the 2011 Worlds this year in Santa Cruz, California. Brent's passion for the game and his spirit not to allow cancer affect that passion will always be admired. He will always be remembered by keeping the dream of furthering the sport of disc golf alive.
And I think we've started something in Columbus, and the future of disc golf in Columbus is looking bright. And it's going to be a heck of a lot better next year. I thank everybody for coming out. Yeah!
Well, Tom, that was really quite a moving piece on Brent Hambrick, and it's really great that the disc golf community is keeping his memory alive and having the tournament every year, naming the course after him. It's just really a great story.
Yeah, it sure is, and you know, Brent didn't let cancer get him down. He still played disc golf, did the things he wanted to do, and it's that spirit that everybody's commemorating.
And Tom, he's going to be inducted in the Disc Golf Hall of Fame this August, so really a great disc golfer, a great human being, and it's just going to be great to see some great disc golf in his honor here.
Yep, ready to see it.
All right, well, before we do that, Tom, we're going to go down to our usual piece where we get to see all the top players with some highlights. We call previous round highlights.
And we've got some great highlights.
All right, here we go with Dave Feldberg driving on hole 5.
He's a nice hyzer out. Right around the tree, nice shot. Nico LaCastro with his putt on hole number 9.
Bang, into the chains, nice shot there. All right, now we go to Garrett Gerthy driving on hole 9.
He lays out a big wide hyzer on this. Watch this come in. Right up to the basket, what a shot. Jeff Brick is putting on hole 7.
Bang, right there. Nice putt. All right, Nico LaCastro driving on hole 2.
Wow, over the road. Look at that go.
Ever coming down? Wow.
Great shot. Okay, Paul Dories, he's putting on hole 8.
Nothing but chains. Nice shot, Paul. Eric McCabe driving on hole 8.
That's a nice flight through the trees right into the fairway. Skips to the hole. Mike Henry putting on 9.
Bang, nice putt there, Mike. Garrett Gerthy driving on hole 9.
That's a nice shot, huh?
All right, Garrett Gerthy putting on hole 9.
Right in the chains. Nate Doss driving on hole number 9.
Former world champion. Look at that throw right down the middle, starting to break back. Nicely done. Okay, we're moving on to Gary Costa driving on hole 11.
This is a nice tee, isn't it? Big hyzer. Not much of a landing area. He sure put it there, though. Eric McCabe putting on 9.
A low one keeps it right in the chains. Avery Jenkins driving on hole 12.
The hole's on the other side of the lake here. No, just kidding, but he lays it down just at the basket. Michael Johansson.
Yeah, we've seen him many times on Disc Golf Monthly. A nice putt there, Michael. All right, Nate Doss driving on hole 12.
Here's another one down to the lake. Let's see what Nate can do.
Pretty hole.
Almost aced it.
Wow, that was sweet.
Michael Henry.
Bangalicious, that one's in there. All right, Paul Macbeth driving on hole 12.
Paul lays one out there. Flying nicely. Right up to the basket. Okay, Tyler Horn putting on 18.
Nicely done.
You can see the elevation on 18, huh?
All right, Jeff Bennett driving on hole 18.
Right up the hill. Oh, and a perfect shot. Well done. Nate Doss putting on 18.
Nice release, puts it right in the chains. Paul Ulibarri driving on hole 12.
See what Paul does putting it down to the lake. Oh, right to the basket. Nice shot, Paul. Nico LaCastro putting on 12.
Nice putt, Nico. Put that one in there. All right, Dutch Napier driving on hole 2.
Well, it's a good camera angle on this. You can really appreciate this fairway. Nice shot by Dutch. Gary Costa on hole 17.
Looks like a putt to me, and he banged it in, Tom. All right, we've got Paul Ulibarri driving on hole 17.
Paul lays out a big hyzer shot. Jeremy Colling putting on 2.
Nicely done, right in the center of the chains. David Feldberg driving on hole 3.
Dave really knows how to lay them out there. What a nice Anheuser shot. Here's Dave putting on hole 3.
Way to seal the deal there, Dave. Nice putt. All right, Barry Schultz driving on hole 6.
Threading that right down the middle. Nice Anheuser shot. Ricky Wysocki.
Ricky catches the outside chains and it sucks it in. Nice shot there, Ricky. All right, Barry Schultz putting in hole 6.
No problem for Barry. Bounced up a little bit. Stayed in.
Ricky Wysocki driving in hole 7.
Well, that's a nice looking shot right down the middle. Here's Ricky again, putting.
That was really sweet. Putting uphill, put it right in. Little slippage there. Okay, Garrett Gerthy driving on hole 8.
That's a nice Anheuser shot, too. Does he make the hole? Nice shot. Here's his putt.
Wow, nice cut hyzer right into the center of the chains. All right, David Feldberg driving on hole 9.
Dave put a big hyzer shot out there, huh?
We're tracking it on radar.
Yes, we are. Nice shot, Dave. And here's his putt.
Rock solid. Nice shot, Dave. Valerie Jenkins driving on hole 6.
Well, it's a nice release.
It's in the hole. What a shot.
Oh, beautiful.
Woohoo! Nicely done. Val.
Here's Elaine King. She's putting on hole 6.
Nice form, Elaine. Okay, Paige Pierce driving on hole 7.
It's a nice snap, a nice low shot. Beautiful drive. Right up to the hole. And Dan Busick putting on 18.
Nicely done, center chains. Paul McBeth driving on hole F.
There's a big hyzer shot too.
Good skip.
Paul putting here, hole G.
Great jump putt, bangs it in there. Nice shot,
Made it
Paul.
look easy.
Okay, Jeremy Colling driving on hole F.
Jeremy lays a nice hyzer shot out there. Looks like he knew what he was doing.
Valet parking.
Devin Owens putting on H.
Nothing but chains. Nice shot there, Devin. Liz Carr driving on hole H.
That's a nice shot. Beautiful drive.
Flexing back nicely.
Liz Lopez, she's driving on G.
And she rips one right down the middle, going a little bit right, but flexing back with a little skip at the end. Okay, Katrina Allen driving on hole H.
It's a nice snap too. Let's watch this flex back. Nico LaCastro putting on F.
Makes it look easy. Nice putt, Nico. Nico again driving on hole 18.
Wow. Need a radar gun for that one.
A speeding ticket there. That's a great throw.
Nice shot. Okay, here's Mike Henry putting on hole number 2.
From the edge of the woods, bangs it in there.
Beautiful.
Nate Doss driving on hole 3.
Big flick shot.
And that's going to wrap it up.
Ooh.
Woo, nice shot.
Beauty.
Well, Tom, that was a great display of the top pros, their skills, putting and some great long shots as well.
Yeah, and how about that ace by Valerie Jenkins?
Most incredible.
It really was.
Well, I'll tell you what, speaking of aces there, you know, we really emphasize putting when we cover a lot of these telecasts, and we've got a real pro that's going to give us some tips here. Brian Schweberger is going to show us how to putt and put it in the basket.
All right, my name is Brian Schweberger. I'm from Tarboro, North Carolina. I'm sponsored by Innova Champion. I'm on Team Champion. I've been there since 2002, and today we're going to go over what kind of putters I use and the situations I use them in during your basic tournament rounds. My main putter is a Glow Big Bead AVR. It's really flat. I like the really flat. It keeps my hands a little bit closer together instead of my thumb being up a little higher like they would be on your KC AVR. And also on longer putts and some up shots, I'll use a Sonic. It's a very user-friendly disc. It flies very straight. It turns over really easy, so I can use it on uphill putts, and it floats for a longer period of time with a lot less effort. So it's come in very handy for me for the last 4 years. Let's go with my basic putts right here. My nice Glow AVRs. They work good. I like to use them on headwind putts because they seem to hold a line a lot easier for me than putting with the KCs. I still putt with the KCs, but I have a lot more confidence with this. I'm starting to run out of them, so I'm starting to work back into the KC AVRs. But yeah, we'll try it again. Yeah, they work real well. Go over here, try a different wind. It seems to hold the line without getting abused by the lift with these KCs. They're a little bit domier. I'll use these in less windy situations, but we'll putt with it anyway. Still works. Now Sonics, I'll have to be more of a tailwind situation. The wind's blowing this way, so I'm gonna come back here and I can throw these more on a straight line and not have to worry about the disc hyzering off of its line. And now the wind switch is swirling. So we'll try it anyway. The wind's gonna abuse it. Yeah, see how it floats nicely with with little effort, and that's why I like it, so I don't have to have a long comeback on any long putt situation.
All right, well, Tom, I think that was a great demo by Brian. He just really canned a lot of cool putts. Used that one putter, the old reliable, from a ways out and just floated it right in.
Yeah, I think a lot of people take that tip with the Sonic, floating it up there and not having a big comeback putt. So.
Well, I think one of the interesting things was the way he putted. I mean, he set up like in an ante position, and then he just let that thing fly.
Yeah, he's a good putter. You know, he's had all the different discs and put them all in the basket. So, yeah, it's good to learn from these guys because putting is the biggest part of the game.
That it is, Tom. And before we hit all the final action here in the final 9, who are we going to be following today?
Well, it's a real treat today. We have some of the best golfers in the world, as we've said earlier. So in this leader group, we've got Paul Ulibarri. Paul's out of Phoenix, Arizona, and he placed 9th in the Alabama Disc Golf Championship. He was 3rd in the Greater Milwaukee Open and 2nd in the First Class Challenge. Next up, we have Jeremy Colling, and Jeremy is out of Charlotte, North Carolina. He placed 22nd in the Alabama Disc Golf Championship, but placed 1st in the Beast of the Nest, and then he placed 1st also in the Mountain Disc Golf Experience. David Fehlberg is 3rd up. David's out of Portland, Oregon, and he was 12th in the Alabama Disc Golf Championship, 1st in the Rose City Open, and 3rd in the Lilac City Open. Nico LaCastro is out of Winfield, Missouri, and Nico's right now 1st in the world. He is 1st at the Alabama Disc Golf Open. He placed 3rd in the Southern Kentucky Disc Golf Championship and 1st at the First Class Open.
Yeah, we've got quite a group of players here at this tournament. Tom, there's a lot of great skills from this group. What are we going to see? What kind of shots is it going to take to win it here today?
Well, you're going to see everything with these guys. You're going to see great Anheuser shots, great flick shots, great hyzer shots, some incredible rollers. This course, as we said, demands every shot that you've got in your bag, and these guys know how to pull them all off. So it'll be really interesting to see who's on their game and who's mastering these shots.
And 4 great putters as well. These guys can really putt the lights out on the baskets here.
They really can. So this is going to be a great, great show.
Well, folks, you're really in for a treat here at the 15th annual Brent Hambrick Memorial Open Disc Golf Tournament. This, like I said, this is a national tour event for the Professional Disc Golf Association. This is an elite tournament, one of the top in the country, so you're going to get to see some great disc golf. Before we cover all the final action, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
For years, Disc Outfitters has been your online resource for taking care of all your disc golf needs, including creating custom-made disc golf apparel for tournaments and clubs. Disc Outfitters has also been at around tournaments, like the upcoming 2011 Patapsco Picnic to be held September 17th and 18th. Get ready for the newest development with Disc Outfitters as they open a new disc golf warehouse in Columbia, Maryland. Just minutes from the Rockburn Disc Golf Course, stop in at 9691 Gerwig Lane in Columbia, Maryland, or call or click today.
All right, Tom, we're following the top 4 in the Pro Open here at the Brent Hambrick Memorial Open. Final 9 holes.
Okay.
And we're starting out with a big lead. Paul's really got the group, but a tight group there right behind him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to move on, Tom, to basket 1. This is a par 3, 344 feet.
Okay, and Paul's up first.
It's like the leader starting with a forehand there.
He's got a big hyzer forehand shot. He knows how to work that. Okay, Jeremy Colling with his drive. Also going with a forehand.
Another high cut shot.
David Feldberg, backhand.
He throws an ante with the same effect, cuts it in. Look at that, flexing back. Oh, wow. That was a great shot there, Tom.
Just about put that in.
Yeah.
And Nico LaCastro is going with the backhand.
Sends it up nice and high, cutting back. Like Dave's shot, right at it.
Boy, these guys make it look easy, don't they?
That was sweet.
4 nice shots there. Paul Willibarri, his putt.
Good view of his form. Just catches the rim of the basket.
Jeremy Colling, see if he can put his in.
Solid, cuts it right back to the chains.
Okay.
Dave with an easy finish there. Gets a stroke there on the field. And Nico converts for the deuce. 3 birdies and a par there, Tom.
Yep, so everybody caught up to Paul. Well, at least picked up 1 stroke on Paul here.
All right, we're on to basket 2. There's a par 3, 487 feet.
Okay, Jeremy Colling with his drive.
Nice and low. Look at that thing scoot on the ground. Get a little skip at the end.
Dave Feldberg looks like he's going to pull off one of his big hyzers here. Nope, pretty much straight down the chute.
Cutting to the left some, Tom.
Might have a little
skipping to
work.
the woods.
Nico LaCastro.
Nico can really air it out. Let's see what he's got here.
Puts a lot of snap on it.
Launches it high to the right, cutting back.
Oh, boy,
that was
nice shot.
Nicely done.
And our leader
sends it high and right, cutting back.
Looks like it's tracking nicely.
Oh, he may be in the woods as well. Nope, he's just on the edge. Got a big gallery here watching this final action.
Okay, Jeremy with a long look at it.
Big jump putt. That twist just a little too hard to the right, but he parks it right there.
Nice shot. From the woods, Paul Willibarri.
On his knees.
Praying to keep that lead.
And I think there's a shot coming in out of the woods. Dave Feldberg. Bam.
Wouldn't you know it?
Impressive shot there, Dave. Nico right on the edge of the woods. Just skipped off the top rim. Tough break there.
Tough hole. It narrows quite a bit when you get down to the hole. Didn't stop Dave from putting it in from the woods.
No,
though,
that was a nice birdie. He's 1 stroke behind Jeremy there. Now we're moving on to basket 3, par 3, 600 feet.
Now here's an interesting tee location from the dam tower.
Costs a lot of money to put a tee like that on your local course. Launches it way up there. Look at that basket location. Very nice. Steps right up to the top.
Okay, let's see what Jeremy Colling can do here.
He sends one high. That's a nice shot
nice
there.
Shot.
He'll have a good look.
Nico LaCastro. He likes shots like this.
All right, he's in a good position. He'll have a good look as well. And our leader.
Another big sweeping or hyzer shot.
Wow, and that one really, he had a good run at the basket there, Tom. Let's see if Dave Feldberg could convert here.
These are difficult putts putting uphill like this.
Outstanding shot.
Nice.
All right, let's see if Nico can convert and get his deuce. Nicely done.
Good putt.
Jeremy needs this putt here, Tom, to stay ahead of Dave. Oh, caught the chains a little high left and just went out the back.
It's a tough break. This is a difficult putt. Paul's a little closer in. Still not easy when it's up that high.
But he
Nice
converts.
shot.
Nice deuce there.
A very consistent tournament going here.
All right, and Jeremy finishes up. 3 birdies on that hole. Look at Dave, tied for second with Jeremy. All right, we're going to move on here, Tom, to basket 4. This is a par 3, 488 feet. Dave Feldberg showcased our sport on the Conan O'Brien show. It was a spectacular display of his disc golf skills.
Monster roller.
Look at that thing take off.
Turns right down the hill. Great shot.
Nice.
Nico looks like he's playing the roller as well.
And he can really put some torque on that disc, Tom. That's going to scream when it hits the ground. There it goes. Our leader.
Another big roller.
All right, that's coming towards the camera. There it goes. Everybody stays clear.
Got through the crowd.
Yep. Nice shot.
And Coling, is he throwing a roller as well? I would think so.
Yep, nice high cut. Oh, he cut it in a little too hard and caught the tree line.
Okay, Nico was out of bounds with his roller.
His third shot puts it close.
You can see this is a very tough pin placement.
Just past the drop off there.
And then you have a second drop off just past the basket as well. Makes it for a difficult
it's a tester.
Shot.
You can see Dave just trying to slide it to the edge.
Not a bad move.
That's a nice effort there. Jeremy was could not see the basket from there.
These little shots can play with your mind a little bit. That makes a.
It's an angle you normally don't get when
sure.
you're putting there. Dave gets down on his knee to get him a little closer to the basket level. Executes the putt.
See these guys take the putt seriously. You know, these putts are worth the same number of strokes as a monster roller shot, so you don't want to miss it.
You don't see any bags on the shoulders here when they're putting.
No, you don't.
All right, we got a couple of bogeys there from the foursome. All right, we're going to move on, but first we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back at the Brent Hambrick Memorial Open Disc Golf Tournament.
What's the joke? What's so funny?
Welcome back, folks. We're on basket 5. This is a par 3, 259 feet.
Okay, Dave Feldberg's up first. Should be a birdie hole for most of these players.
Great release, going right at it. Whoa, another basket perched up high. He gave it a good run.
Looks like Paul's going to go with the forehand.
Looking to bring it from left to right. Sends it out there high. Cutting back.
Sticks
right
it
in front.
Good shot. Nico's got a real smooth shoulder turn, a nice throw.
High right, cutting back to the left, and that skips away a little bit.
Yeah, he'll have a little work coming back. Jeremy Colling. Looks like he's going to take that forehand shot, forearm over the trees. See if he can stick it.
High left, coming back right. Good skip right there.
Great shot.
Good view of Nico, what he's faced with here. It's a tester. Great skills there. Nico converts. Nice deuce.
I know.
See if Dave can do the same thing. It's a little bit closer in.
And he does
Nice
right
putt.
there, center chains.
As tall as Jeremy is, this is probably feels normal to him.
Yeah,
he's got
a pretty level luck.
Yeah.
Wow, he thought that might bounce back in front of him, but he's got it.
It's only one step up for him.
It. I need a ladder to get up there. All right, our leader Paul is going to convert. Great drive. It looks like a very easy conversion there, and it is.
Yeah, he's keeping that round going.
Star frame there, Tom. Birdies around. All right, we're going to move on to basket 6, par 3, 291 feet.
Okay, Dave Feldberg is up first.
Throws a high cut shot, high right coming back. It's got a little work there.
Yeah, left it out right a little bit. Beautiful shot. He knows how to stick those flick shots, doesn't he?
He does. Looks like ZZ Top is there in the gallery.
Yeah,
there to the right.
Paul J with that distinctive ZZ Top beard of his.
Nice high shot by Nico. Looks like he got around the trees nicely there.
Jeremy Colling, he's been quite successful with this flick shot as well today.
Coming around nicely.
Brings it in tight.
Yeah, that's there.
Sticks it.
Valet parking.
Very consistent.
See if Nico can get the deuce here. Just catches the lip of the rim. I think Dave's really got to convert here because Jeremy is close. Oh, just caught the top of the basket, top, middle, and bottom. Did not go in. A little frustration there. Our leader.
No problem for Paul.
Jeremy with a drop in.
Now he's tied with Dave.
Look at that. A good battle there by the three behind Paul. Moving on to basket 7, par 4, 900 feet. This is a big one there, Tom.
This is a monster hole. It starts at the long tee of basket number 7 and goes all the way to the pin on the 8th hole.
Big rip by our leader to the right, breaking back to center.
Money shot.
Great
Very
shot.
nice. Sets up for the next shot.
Halfway there. Well, he just gives that a ride, huh?
Boy, look at that come back to center. That's a sweet forehand. Nicely done.
Safe. Nope, they're giving you safe.
All right, he's safe.
Safe.
Here's the other battle, Jeremy and Dave. Let's see if Dave can answer that shot.
Dave looking at a hyzer, it looks like, or just straight down. He is playing
Big
a hyzer.
rip down the right, breaking back to the middle.
It's a nice looking shot. Skips right
It's
into the middle.
Very nice.
Sit. Sit. Go. Now go. Oh my God.
Nico with a big rip there. High left coming back to the right. Up, it
Nope,
stayed out
fading
there.
out. Looks like it's going OB. He's not happy with that.
Paul's got a good look here on his second shot. Bust it right out there. All right, I think he cut it a little early. Nico with the OB takes his third.
Big roller. Oh, looks good.
Turn up, baby.
All right, they're scrambling to get out of the way.
There's a nice
That's a
recovery
very nice
shot by Nico. Very
Absolutely.
nice. He needed that.
Jeremy's getting that forehand ready.
Boy, he's good with that.
He really gets a lot of speed on that release there, Tom.
Sure does. Coming in nicely.
All right, he'll have a decent look. Dave, who was close to the road.
Dave's going with the roller.
Gets it down. Look at that.
Oh, look, it makes the turn.
That's
what a great
incredible.
shot.
All right, you can see Jeremy's got a little work here on his third shot.
And this is a tricky hole to putt at. Oh. Did he hang on?
You could see
he did hang
he just
on.
needed that soft release.
Wow.
And look how far it went.
Oh, that could be real trouble to go long on this.
Yeah.
Nice
Wow.
putt.
Nice conversion there. Gets the 4. All right, Nico, he's got the look downhill here.
This is a tough look.
Just caught the lip of the rim. A little frustration there.
Frustrated. It's a very difficult putt, though.
Our leader, Paul's basically got it on autopilot here, Tom. He's really playing solid.
He really does. I mean, he's just very, very consistent this whole weekend.
Focus just nails it.
Wow.
That was like a stake in the heart there, right down the middle. All right, now Dave going for the birdie 3.
To be all the way down here 900 feet in 2 strokes is incredible.
Very nice. And he takes a stroke on Jeremy there. Look at that. Dave makes a great move on that hole. You could do that a month of Sundays and not pick up a 3. That was fantastic. As we move on to basket 8, this is a par 4, 720 feet. Another big one there, Tom.
Dave's up first after that birdie shot.
See if he can keep the pressure on Jeremy.
We can do a big uphill shot.
Nicely done. Look at that thing starting to flex back.
It's one thing to go 720 feet. It's another to go 720 uphill.
Yeah.
Many respects, this is harder than the 900 downhill.
Good looking throw by our leader. It's breaking a little bit to the left. Just on the edge of the tree line.
Edge. That might be a tough stance for his next shot.
Jeremy starts that out left, but is bringing it back.
Nice turnover shot.
No forehand on that one.
Like that.
Big backhand shot. See if Nico can put something together here.
He likes to rip these backhands. It's a beautiful looking drive.
Great speed on the release.
Hang on.
A little skip. He should be all right there. Paul's got to step out of the wood line. Look at that S shot on that forehand.
It's good out. Well played.
A little work left. Jeremy with the high forehand. Cutting back. That's
Pretty
not
close.
bad.
Dave with a nice Anheuser shot. Puts
He's
it up a
got
little short.
A little bit of work. I don't know if that tree's going to be in his way.
Yeah, he would rather be on the other side of that tree.
Nico sends it high, cutting back from left to right. And he's a little bit close to that tree.
Okay, Paul with his third shot.
Nice forehand.
Fires it.
Oh! There's one for the highlight reel.
Somebody is on his game this weekend, huh?
That was just a sweet-looking shot there, Tom.
Well, he sealed the deal there, that's for sure.
That was fantastic. Just caught the rim.
Would have been a nice birdie.
Dave for his par. Dodged a bullet on that last putt by Jeremy.
Sure did. Big battle between these two guys.
Nicely done. Well, we saw a fantastic birdie by our leader with that forehand putt. That was beautiful. More of an approach shot than a putt. All right, we're going to move on here, Tom, to basket 9, par 3, 582 feet.
You're not supposed to be drinking and driving. I'm not drinking. You want cherry? Oh, yeah. Okay for a cherry?
Little camaraderie as we start the final hole here.
Okay, and our leader is up first.
He's got the momentum of that last birdie. Crushes one down there. Big throw. Dave really let that one rip.
Sure did.
Look at that turning.
Wow. Oh, that's a long throw. Jeremy with a backhand this time.
All right, he's got it turning.
I like the way they turn over and flex out for him. Go rips it.
Still going.
What a big shot.
Here we go. Forehand approach. Just missed.
It's a par 4. It'll be easy threes for these guys. See if someone can hit it too.
Jeremy looking to strike twice. Puts it right there. Nico high right, cutting back to the left.
Dave wants this.
Wow, good run there.
Almost had it. And it looks like they'll clean this up.
And Nico finishes
Great
a nice
9.
tournament. Jeremy's done.
Dave keeps his 1-stroke lead for second place.
And here is our tournament leader and the champion of the 15th annual Brent Hambrick Memorial Open Disc Golf Tournament.
Great playing by Paul here.
On behalf of all our sponsors, the Columbus Flyers Disc Golf Club, I want to present to you the 2011 Brent Hambrick Memorial Open Champions. Valerie Jenkins, Paul Ulibarri.
Great performance here.
Nice job. Valerie wins the Women's Open. Paul wins the Men's Open. That was quite a contest that we saw there, Tom.
Boy, just a ton of good shots, some big rollers.
We'll be right back to wrap it all up. Wow, what a victory there, Tom, by Paul Ulibarri. He takes his first national tour event for the PDGA, quite a victory. And I think his second round, 1100 rated round of 1400, really put him in a good position for the final 9.
Well, that really did set him up. He had, you know, a 10-stroke lead, 8 to 10-stroke lead going into that, and he played a very, very consistent game. He had 5 birdies, 4 pars. That's what you need to do in these tournaments. Don't give it up with any bogeys. And the other guy that played just as consistent in that final 9 as Paul did was Dave Feldberg. He had 6 birdies, and the only difference there was that 900-foot birdie that he had on the hole that started at the long tee at 7 and ended up at the pin at number 8. That was a huge hole, and he got a birdie 3 on that hole.
That was incredible. We really got to see some great skills from all 4 players in that final 9.
We sure did. And again, got to see a lot of shots, a lot of incredible rollers, and some just, you know, it's just a pleasure to watch these guys play. Their drives, their approaches, their putts. It's no wonder that they're all top players in the world.
Well, folks, I hope that makes you just want to get out to the disc golf course and throw some plastic yourself. Well, we had a great tournament, a lot of great volunteers for the event as usual. It just really makes this for a great event.
Yeah, scenic course.
Yes, absolutely. Well, folks, that's all we have for this edition. It was a great event. For Disc Golf Monthly, I'm Carl Cubbage with Tom Cady. Disc Golf Monthly, the show that takes you one step closer to the exciting sport of disc golf.